Welcome to Hindu Infopedia. This is the fourth part of the series that analyzes the wall dividing Islam, that is the Gaza-Egypt wall. Today we tackle a question that often goes unspoken. Why do the wealthiest Muslim nations refuse to resettle Palestinian refugees? This isn't just about capacity or compassion. It's a complex story rooted in history, security, and political memory. Let's start with a crucial fact. Saudi Arabia, the UAE, Qatar, and Kuwait have the wealth and infrastructure to absorb every Palestinian refugee if they wanted to. Yet, they choose not to. Not temporarily, not gradually, not at all. To understand this, we need to revisit the events that shaped this regional stance. Take Jordan's experience, for instance. In 1948, Jordan granted citizenship to many Palestinians from the West Bank. Initially, this seemed like a step towards Arab unity. But by 1970, the PLO had emerged as a rival authority, challenging the monarchy. This led to a violent confrontation known as Black September, resulting in the PLO's expulsion and the revocation of thousands of citizenships. Jordan learned a hard lesson. Integration can spark internal rebellion. Kuwait's turning point came with the invasion in 1990. Before that, nearly 400,000 Palestinians called it home. They contributed to schools, government and businesses, some for decades. But when Iraq invaded, some Palestinians sided with Saddam Hussein. Not everyone, but enough to create a deep divide. The PLO leadership openly supported the invasion, complicating loyalties. After liberation, Kuwait faced a tough choice: security over sentiment. In just 2 years, the Palestinian population plummeted to under 30,000, from 400,000 to a fraction. A stark reminder of political allegiance. In the Gulf's view, this wasn't prejudice, it was a precedent. The Gulf Doctrine emerges. After Kuwait, Gulf states established a clear rule: Palestinians can work here, but they will never gain citizenship. This policy was rooted in history, dating back to 1965. The Arab League's Casablanca Protocol allowed residency and jobs, but blocked citizenship to uphold the right of return. Over time, this principle became a protective barrier, preserving identity and preventing political challenges. Demographic realities reinforce this stance. In many Gulf states, citizens make up only about a quarter of the population. Naturalizing a large external group could drastically alter political stability. Syria and Lebanon present a different narrative. Both countries host significant Palestinian communities, but with strict limitations. In Syria, Palestinian life is tightly controlled by the state. In Lebanon, Palestinians face severe restrictions on work, property, and political engagement. These harsh policies stem from historical experiences: civil war in Lebanon and factional threats in Syria. The UNRWA structure is unique. Unlike other refugees under UNHCR, Palestinians fall under UNRWA's care. This refugee status is inherited, ensuring the issue persists and relieving host nations from full integration. Recent events highlight this ongoing policy. It's not just a relic of the past. During the 2023 Gaza crisis, Egypt, Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE all rejected relocation offers. Egypt strengthened its Rafah barrier, while Jordan reiterated it is not an alternative homeland. The Gulf states continued to fund humanitarian aid but did not accept resettlement. This leads us to a crucial truth. Arab and Muslim states have supported Palestinians, but not through citizenship. Behind the slogans lies a stark reality. Accepting Palestinian populations can lead to instability and demographic shifts. This complexity doesn't simplify the issue or deny Palestinian suffering. It reveals a truth often overlooked. Those closest to Palestine have opted for distance and control, informed by experience rather than emotion. If you found this analysis insightful, please like this video, subscribe, and visit hinduinfopedia.com for the full blog. Thank you for watching.